Let's talk favorite teams then here. Do you have a second favorite NFL team? Is it the Cowboys only, or do you have a second team out there? Type 2 if the answer is yes. Type 1 if the answer is no. I'm very curious where you guys all check in here, so we'll leave this up for a little bit. I see 2 Panthers. Bonus points if you guys shout out your other favorite team, by the way. Reminder, it is like Who's Line. The points don't actually mean anything. Nolan says 2. Dylan says 2. He's ashamed of the Rams. Okay, that's fair. Cowboys fan 158 says 2 Steelers. Shout out Troy Daniels for heading over to the link and putting it in the comments, the trash on Mott's video. Thank you. 2 Steelers again. Second favorite is the Packers from Nick Garcia. Chargers from Nolan. David says 2 Raiders, 2 Jets, 2 Ravens, 2 Chargers, 2 Raiders, 2 Browns. Dallas and Dallas. Nathanos with a clever answer here says Rangers and Rams. I guess we didn't actually, or Rangers and Stars, didn't actually qualify that it was NFL. Most of you seem to know what was going on there. I see 2 Dolphins, 2 Ravens, 4 Sweden. No idea what that even means, just so we're clear. JB King says 2 Eagles. LMAO Psych, thank you. Yeah, you can't be a Cowboys and an Eagles fan. You can't be a Cowboys and a Redskins fan or a Cowboys and a Giants fan. They play too often. The best path is to go like Cowboys and Ravens, like Camo Wolf says. That's an issue once every 4 years. So from Cincinnati, I think that the Bengals are my second favorite team, but it is, of course, behind the Dallas Cowboys. Live Q&A time now. You guys know the drill. Use hashtag Cowboys, and a big shout-out to Manscaped for sponsoring this Q&A. Destroyer Dog says, would you rather pay Dak or Adams, the quarterback? I love Jamal Adams. Don't get me wrong there, and I can find a way to pay both of them. But if I pay Adams, what am I doing at quarterback? Who am I bringing in? Am I going to roll with Dalton because I'm not going to win anything with him? Am I suddenly going to try and find a way to tank and draft somebody? Because if I'm tanking, why am I paying all these players? So for me, it's Dak every single time unless I'm blowing it up, at which point I'm not going to pay any of them because I'm going to be tanking. A super chat coming in from Zeno saying, thank you, Zeno, again. Best way to get on the show, hashtag Cowboys or super chat. Me and my dad are Cowboy fans. I like the Saints for a second team. My mom's a Steelers fan, so I'll root for that team. They're my second team. That's fair. I think for a lot of fans out there, this is personally my experience as well, that the biggest argument in favor of a second team is normally from your parents. That's why Bengals for me. So thank you, Zeno. I appreciate you sharing it and for that super chat. Chris Rooks, hashtag Cowboys. There is an article that says the Cowboys are signing Eric Berry. Is that true? No, that's not what's going to happen here. There is, of course, a chance the Cowboys end up signing Eric Berry, but there's nothing official on that front. Trust me, you wouldn't be hearing it from some random article. It'd be on the show. All right, Kevin, do you think we could have won a Super Bowl with the 2018 defense and the 2019 offense? Kind of funny, right, how that all turns out. I think you would have had a better shot. That defense was better in 2018. That offense was way better in 2019 because you weren't throwing out Allen Hurns and a not-yet-good Michael Gallup and Cole Beasley. Go figure, all of a sudden you give playmakers to Dak Prescott, things go well. I want to say yes, but I honestly think the answer is no because I don't think you were ever going to win one with Jason Garrett as your head coach. Of course, Garrett's not the head coach anymore, so everyone in the comments chime in, excuse me. Sound off, chime in, I merged them. Y for yes or N for no. Will Dak Prescott lead the Cowboys to the playoffs in 2020? I'm going to go with yes. I think that's what will end up happening. Maybe it's a wild card spot. I think they end up getting the NFC East, though, because I think they're better than the Eagles, at least as close as it's going to be. I see mostly yeses coming in, a handful of N's, which absolutely break my heart, but keep the votes coming there. Y for yes and N for no. From Petey Miller, could we see Gregory and Smith start if Tank gets hurt? For starters, I really don't want to see a scenario where, that's what the Cowboys' defensive end depth chart looks like. I don't want to see a team without Tank Lawrence on there because I don't trust that pass rush. Now, I think if it does happen in theory, I think on pass rushing down, so third down, some second downs, those would be the guys out there at defensive end. I think Crawford would play defensive tackle. So if Tank goes down, in terms of your pass rush starters, I think there's a good chance it would be Gregory Smith if, of course, Randy Gregory ends up being reinstated. From King J, how do you feel about the report claiming that Darius Slay is Amari's kryptonite? How do you feel about Amari's matchup against number one corners? It's been a little inconsistent for Amari. Stephon Gilmore shut him down. Tends to happen because Stephon Gilmore is awesome. In a very limited sample size, Darius Slay has outperformed Amari Cooper by a significant margin. In the end, although I think the advantage might lean towards Slay, at least for this year, I'm not overly concerned about it because the Eagles still have to stop Michael Gallup and they still have to stop Ceedee Lamb. They don't have great corners outside of Darius Slay. So, yeah, Slay is going to help them against Amari, but there will be times Slay matches is having to go cover Gallup or having to go cover Ceedee Lamb. So the Eagles' lack of cornerback depth still puts the favor on the Cowboys' side. America's team, who is a better running back, Barkley or Elliott, he says he got his draft hat the other day. Looks perfect, fast shipping. Shout out to Chat Sports. Everyone buy a draft hat. Thank you, America's team. I'm glad you like the draft hat. It's great on that front. I think it's Barkley. As much as you guys aren't going to like my answer there, at least for this upcoming year, if I had to pick one just to have on my roster, I think I'd go with Saquon Barkley. Now, speaking of Elliott, producer Alicia put this question together. What has been the best recent first-round Cowboys draft pick? Noticeably absent Taco Charlton. Alicia didn't want to trigger you, but I couldn't resist the opportunity. Type CL for Ceedee Lamb, LVE for Leighton Vander Esch, EE for Ezekiel Elliott. Can't believe she put BJ up there for Byron Jones. And then ZM for Zach Martin. I think it's Zach Martin. I mean, of the guys on here, isn't he by far the most likely to be a Hall of Famer? Remember when that was almost Johnny Manziel, if it wasn't for Stephen Jones getting involved? I'm typing in my ZM. I see some EEs coming in. I think Zach Martin has been the best Cowboys first-round draft pick in a very long time, even going back to the Tyron Smith type of draft picks there. So I'm going Zach Martin. I don't see any Ceedee Lambs. I see no Byron Jones, like one or two LVEs, some Zeke Elliott's, but I think Zach Martin is the best option there. From Akil coming in here now, do you see all of Ceedee, Gallup, and Amari being on the Cowboys in 3 to 5 years? If we did trade Amari in a couple years, what would we get for him? I don't know what the cap situation looks like. I don't think the Cowboys, unless there is a massive jump in the cap and they're able to smooth it out early on and it still explodes by, potentially $100 million in the end, I don't think they're going to invest because, in theory, Gallup's going to be a top 5 highest paid receiver. Cooper will not be at that point, but they already made him one. Ceedee Lamb, in theory, breaks out. So you might move on from one of them. When Gallup's due to have his extension really affect the cap, you could move on from Cooper. If you trade Cooper away, you're probably going to be looking for at least a first-round pick back if he keeps playing as well as he has. But that's a problem for the future Cowboys to worry about. That's not something really at the forefront for them right now. From Yoel Tedros, if I botched the name, I'm sorry, my friend. Do you think that Connor Williams is the future of the Cowboys? I mean, I don't think he's going to be like a superstar offensive lineman like maybe I thought he might have been coming out of Texas in the draft. But I think he's going to continue to be a part of it. I'm still going to say I'm surprised by it, that so many people are so quick to try and get rid of Connor Williams. Maybe he moves to left tackle at some point or to center. That's certainly possible. But he's the favorite to be the left guard for the Cowboys next year because he's been at least a league average starter. And in the end, that carries some value. Like, if your worst offensive lineman is a league average starter, that means it's not his fault. If your offense has issues, that means it's a scheme thing or a different player thing or a quarterback thing or whatever it is. It means it's not your left guard because if your worst starter is league average, that means you're going to have a really, really good offensive line. As mentioned earlier, today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. You can save 20% off with the Weed Whacker at manscaped.com if you use promo code Cowboys. That is the single best nose and ear hair trimmer. If you're looking for something different this year for your dad on Father's Day, the Weed Whacker is a good way to go because if it's anything like my dad or my grandpa, they're kind of reaching the age where they could use some reliable hair trimming products. So go check it out. It's at manscaped.com. If you use promo code Cowboys, you'll get 20% off. That link, by the way, and the promo code too, is in the comments and the description. So go check it out, manscaped.com, promo code Cowboys. We have some super chats to get into here from Fat Sushi Man. Shout outs to Tom. People say he's a Debbie Downey, but he says nothing but the truth. Look, I want to believe that too. I try to tell you guys like how it is, or at least how I think it is. Sometimes that means being negative, but you know what? If everything was sunshine and roses, the Cowboys would have won a Super Bowl in the last 25 plus years. Just my mindset. So hit me up with a sub there, guys. If you haven't already, we have the best Cowboys coverage out there. Daily videos coming in. We will always try to tell you like it is. I am surprised that producer Alicia chose to bring up this super chat from Rye Money TV. I don't feel it's appropriate for me to read it out loud. You guys can read it. Thanks for the super chat, Rye Money. Barrett B49. Hi, Tom. What will Ceedee Lamb's long-term role be? I mean, I think everything goes according to plan. He emerges as a legitimate number one receiver, right? I am optimistic about Lamb. Maybe there's a bit of a slower ramp-up period because he's not going to be force-fed as a number one guy like other rookies might be in their spots. But in the end, I think the goal here is for the Cowboys to have a problem of, oh, shoot, guys, we got three legitimate, if not number one, borderline number one receivers in Cooper, Gallup, and Lamb. That's a good problem to have, especially in 2020 when offense is super, super important in the end. So I hope that ends up being the case for the Cowboys and for Ceedee Lamb. From John Lynch, then we do want to get to the other super chat from Zeno. We've seen it. Don't worry, my man. No fucking way. I'm trying really hard not to swear like I just did again. Should the Cowboys bring back Rico Gathers? I think he's better than Blake Jarwin and would start over him day one. I am going to take this as a brilliant troll from John Lynch because otherwise I just don't want to believe that that's a real thought that you have, because Jarwin has proven he's better than Rico Gathers. Rico Gathers isn't that good and isn't in the NFL at all right now. So just throwing it out there. All right, Troy Daniels. If Dallas does end up signing Eric Berry he means, what would his contract look like? I think it'd be a cheaper one-year deal. I think that what ends up happening here if it signs is that you're going limited guaranteed money, probably a low base salary, and a lot of incentives based on playing time and production that wouldn't count against the cap this year. If he hits some, takes down on a future cap hits, as all incentive-based contracts do. So I don't think you spend a lot on him, and frankly, since he's barely played in 2 years, I wouldn't want to anyway. America's team, is Trevon Diggs going to be better than a better Byron Jones, I should say, because he's more of a ball hawk? Diggs' track record in terms of... See, that's actually not even true, because Byron Jones in college was a ball hawk. He had a ton of interceptions. He just didn't do that for the Cowboys, and you wonder if maybe scheme is a factor on that front. My expectations for Diggs, especially in the first couple of years, is that he's not going to be better than Byron. The Dolphins made Byron the highest paid corner in the NFL because Byron's a top 10 guy. Like, that's where we're at with him. Now, I think Frederick might be a bigger loss, but I'm typing in order FJQ in terms of the biggest losses for the Cowboys. You're going to miss having Byron Jones out there because he locked down one side of the field. Yeah, he didn't make a ton of plays, but the number one job of a cover guy is to make sure that the guys aren't getting open and beating him. That didn't happen very much for Byron Jones. All right, Alan Williams with a super chat. Thank you, Alan. Would you rather make more moves in free agency or pay Dak first? Would you consider trading Devin Smith, and who could we get? I want to get the quarterback out of the way. Like, if you continue to wait on paying Dak Prescott, it is only going to be more expensive. And at that point, you run the risk of Kirk Cousinings yourself, where you've put yourself behind the 8 ball, you upset your franchise guy, he just wants out because he doesn't feel respected or loved by the organization, and then all of a sudden things really fall apart. So I'm paying Dak first, then I'll figure out everything else because it's a lot easier to win with a quarterback than it is to win without one. As for trading Devin Smith, yeah, I consider it. I don't think you're going to get anything for him. I don't think Devin Smith is going to get you anything more than a 7th-round pick because he was out of the NFL more or less, and no one really wanted him. Here's the super chat from Zeno. What's yours and everyone else's most heartbreaking moment as a fan? Mine is the Dez Bryant the Dez Bryant BS catch I swore in front of my parents. Yeah, I think that's going to be a popular one. It depends, of course, on how old you guys are. Dez catching it and then it ruled not being a catch, I think is probably the one that's up there the most for me because he caught that football. Like, you will never be able to convince me otherwise that Dez didn't catch that football, and I will continue to say that was a touchdown because, yeah, the ball popped up, didn't really hit the ground, though, regained possession in the end zone. I think it should have been a touchdown. Producer Brett wants to say something. Oh, yeah, Producer Brett painfully reminds me, because I blocked it out of my memory, of Romo botching the extra point because I do think that they would have won that. First off, Witten scored on the play or got the first down, whichever it was, like 2 plays before that, and they went into conservative mode. And if Grammatica steps in the way of Ken Hamlin, it's a touchdown for Romo, and we have one of the weirdest awesome plays in history. But yeah, I think that's a good one. Thanks for triggering me of that one as well, Brett. So that's twice now on today's live show I've been triggered and upset. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.